edition of A Journey for a Better Tomorrow. This is your host, Mitch Culbertson. I'll be riding solo this week. I'll try to give you just a quick little mental health message there for this particular episode. This episode is going to be dealing with becoming the best version of yourself, basically from surviving to stewarding. And so I want to give you some insight into that, becoming the best version of yourself, a little bit of tips that's going to come along with this. And I want you to really know what it means to become the best version of yourself, not through hustle or perfection, but through presence, surrendering, and stewardship. And I want you to really know that there are points of ourself where we grow from one stage in this life to another stage. And that stage that we should be growing from is from being a person that is just there and being a person that is there for others. And so, with that growth, I'm hoping that you be able to recognize that in order to be the best version of yourself, you have to have those connected relationships in and around you. You got to be able to understand that it's not just about me. And so, I want to help give you some real good insight into this. And I'll share with you for myself just maybe a little personal story of a moment that I kind of froze in my life and in my way. And it was just a situation that occurred where, I was really intent on trying to figure out how I'm going to make my next move here. And that next move came with me having a medical diagnosis. Came with me having to have income coming in from having left a position or job so that I could help build this mental health practice. And so it was a moment where my body system kind of just, it took a little setback, took a little moment, it froze, and it had to allow me to be able to dig a little deeper. And it wasn't me just freezing from being lazy or anything. It was more or less, as I've described in the past, it was just basically my autonomic nervous system, my body system telling me, yo, bro, we need to kind of shut down for a minute so I can protect you in this moment. And I had to surrender my whole situation to God and just give it to Him in that way and allow Him to be able to guide me going forward. And so we're going to have a little conversation today just about what it looks like to be able to get a better glimpse of what a better you look like. And so just even thinking about it just from the nervous system perspective, as I talked about in the past there, what does becoming your best self look like in the nervous system? And we know that whenever we're faced with situations, circumstances, we're normally going to have a autonomic nervous system response that's going to either put us in a fight, flight, or shutdown mode. And depending on what the deal is, you may be able to meet that moment. You may be able to go ahead and fight and get through that moment. Or it may be a situation that's so overwhelming to you that you have that what they call a dorsal vagal collapse, that shutdown. Or it may be a situation where you're completely good with it and you have that what we call that ventral vagal, which is connected and feeling safe in that moment. And so from a nervous system perspective there, that danger signal that engages when we are triggered by any one of those things that triggers. And I always used to give people that insight on those 9 things that kind of triggers when your life or limb is in jeopardy there, when you feel insulted or disrespected, something associated with family, something associated with the environment that you live in. Is not necessarily just the environment you live in, but can be community. It could be a holistic approach with respect to environment. Something dealing with your mate or your spouse, something dealing with things done out of the order or sequence that you used to seeing them done in. That automatically triggers that fight, flight, or shutdown mode. Dealing with your resources, your things, your property, automatically triggers fight, flight, or shutdown. tribe or clique, the people that you align with, automatically triggers that fight, flight, or shut down there. And feeling stopped, feeling as though somebody, something's trying to keep you from getting where you're trying to get to, automatically triggers that old brain, that amygdala to come in and end up saying, bro, we in danger here, fight, flight, or we're going to shut down. We either going to meet the moment or we're not. And in those instances there, you've got to be able to begin to recognize, where am I being triggered at? What's going on in this space right now? Is someone insulting? Is someone disrespecting me? How am I going to be able to respond to this situation and to the people in here? And so that begins to allow you to get a handle or a grasp on you becoming the best version of yourself. Your response to any of these things that go on with you is your responsibility. Y'all have heard me talk in the past about those 5 givens that you're going to get. Everything changes in the end. Things don't always work out the way we plan. Life ain't always fair. People's not always going to be loving and loyal. And pain is a part of life. All of those things are going to happen to you, but how you respond to it, that's your responsibility. And so that's the same thing with our nervous system there. We normally respond based on our past patterns because your brain's going to take that shortcut. It's going to automatically default to that. But the key is your frontal lobe, that thinking brain, that CEO, the brakes of the brain, it's got to be able to step forward, let you know that this situation is totally different. And so we need to respond totally different in this. And that just gives you just a little bit of insight from a neuroscience perspective there on that nervous system response and allowing you to become the best version of yourself. Another part of this whole process is taking that shame out of your experiences, taking that shame and then allowing it to be able to become stewardship based mentality there. That stewardship means me being able to engage and do something for somebody else, me being able to engage and make a difference in somebody else's life. So reframing that shame that you've experienced across your lifespan and being able to turn it into a way or into a reflection of you becoming a better steward, not only of the life that you've been given, but to be able to be a better steward of the resources that you've got, that you may be able to be a help to someone else. And all of these things take into account on you being a better version of yourself. And another thing that you would have to consider is being able to take a moment each day and try to rewire that inner critic, that inner voice that's in us, that's telling us that maybe we're not enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not good enough, we ain't enough. Whatever that inner critic is saying to you, you need to be able to kind of attack it from a daily perspective there, and being able to sow a word or message or something into your space that allows you to be able to break down those negative words, negative comments, those negative things. We call them ants, automatic negative thoughts, things that come up to try to make it appear as though you're not who you truly are and not representative of the best version of yourself. And so we want you to be able to do something daily to try to rewire that inner critic. And when you have a new thought process, that begins to be that new pattern, that new brain pattern that's taking place that allow that rewiring to take place there. And of course, in this stewardship practice, I always want you to have that breath work in hand there. That ability to be able to breathe. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it, exhale for 6. Breathe. Inhale for 4, hold, exhale for 6. Then you ask your body, what do you need to feel safe enough to grow right now? What do I need to feel safe enough to grow? And a small act of journaling would help you honor your future self. And so these things could help guide you toward being a better steward, a better person, a better version of yourself. And so really would like to want you to think about maybe situation where you may feel stuck. And you might want to sit there and ask you, what are the things that I'm feeling stuck about? Why am I feeling stuck in this moment? What are this message that keep circling continuously in my head right now? And I can't get past this message. my what we call anterior cingulate gyrus, my brain's gear shifter can't shift into its proper space and let me pass this. So I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling in this moment here. And begin to talk yourself through this. Allow yourself to have that inner dialogue to where you be able to begin to understand that this too shall pass. This is the moment that's not going to be bigger than me. This is a moment that I'm going to be able to meet it and get through it. And also look back on your life, because we tend to not look at our success and the small wins that we've had. Look back on there and look at failures that you had in your life, and look how they maybe became a turning point. I know I can look back at my experience in law school, man, after I finished my 1L year, my GPA wasn't exactly where I needed it to be able to keep my seat. And I couldn't meet the requirements that they were going to be asking of me, man. And that right there was something that impacted me a whole lot. But it also allowed me to go ahead and go back into the area which was basically my calling, back into this mental health space, and back into that field. And so I didn't burn any bridges coming forward, and I was allowed to get back in and do the things that made me very successful in that way. And I definitely encourage you to do a ritual that helps keep you grounded, something that will help keep you grounded and recognize, rituals for me, man, is just waking up in the morning, saying those attitudes of gratitude for me, those three things that I'm grateful for. And those rituals, to be the small things, it could be, I mean, just those acts of gratitude are the things of gratitude, because seemingly be small, but it grounds you into this day and lets you know, hey, life is real, and I can make a real impact on this. Um, I really would love for you guys to listen to some things that it take on becoming the best version of yourself. And although I don't have anyone with me on this episode, a story for someone to be able to tell or share the thing or the pathway that they took that they had to get through, you know. But there's so many stories that are out there from so many people, and you can look at your life and you can look at the moments that you overcame, and take that story about the moments that you overcame and put it in context with what I'm sharing with you today, and be able to say in truth that I am an overcomer, that ye are children of overcomers. You overcomers. We overcome, we overcome, we overcome. And this too will pass there. And so as we continue to move forward on our journey for not only a better tomorrow, but for a better version of ourselves in tomorrow, I want you to consider this 7-day plan, growth plan, that I would love to see you do. And on day one, I want you to do 3 grounding breaths, and have this intentional statement on what it is that you're going to do, accomplish that day. And so waking up in the morning, taking that deep breath, going through a 3 series cycle of it there, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, and then being intentional. Even if you have to, if you one that needs to write down what my intention is today, that I'm going to do something good or positive for me in this day, in this space. Day 2, I would want you to do a body scan. Scan yourself from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, and all the way from the top of your head back down to the bottom of your feet there. Use what we call a progressive muscle relaxation, if you have to, meaning tightening up those areas, curling your toes. And if any of you have the opportunity to look up what progressive muscle relaxation look like on the internet, you can do that as well. But it's basically tensing your muscles and loosen them. But do a body scan if you feel intense in that moment. But do that body scan, look up and down your body, and name one protective story. Name one protective story that you would end up needing, or that would help benefit you from that day. And so naming one protective story, uh, some things that help guard you, keep you, and a protective story for me would always be reminded of things that I need to do to make sure that my family is good and that my family is safe and that I'm doing the right thing to be able to help them grow and move into a better space. And I could find a story that's related to, in a story that's related to that overall goal there. Day three, you want to be able to share with somebody a small vulnerability that you have. Let people know, since when we are afraid to be able to share a measure of vulnerability to ourselves, that has a aspect of shame that's attached to it. And so when you're able to start to be able to share with others a vulnerability that you may have, it allows that shame to start to lessen or dissipate. And it allows you to be comfortable with growing and knowing that, man, a lot of times we think people will focus on us, hyper focus on us, this, that, and the other. A lot of times they ain't even thinking about you in no kind of way. Uh, but we begin to be so hyper focused on us and our mistakes and the things that the small microcosms that are in our life and in our space there. And so what I would encourage you to do is be able to share a small vulnerability that you have with someone on that day three. Day four, have that curiosity walk. Take a walk, and I want you to note one surprise that you had while you were on that curiosity walk. Curiosity walk, meaning being able to observe anything in your space and around you while you're taking that walk. Notice the trees, notice the grass, notice things that maybe come up. Notice things that you probably would not ordinarily notice. We want you to have that level of attunement to be able to come in and take place. And so that curiosity walk, and note that one surprise on day four. On day five, I want you to reframe a self criticism. Reframing is basically making it other than what it is, saying something in a different way, a different light. And it may be a self criticism that you have, I'm not enough. And reframing that self criticism could be that I am enough, I'm more than enough, I'm good enough. And so on day five, reframe a self criticism that you had. On day six, I want you to use a what we call a guided practice from an episode, and guided meditation, guided mindfulness type things like that. There are things you can look up to show a what guided practice of meditation or a guided practice of being mindful is. But a guided practice would be you doing something along in line with a guided voice that would help you guide through this or that. And you could tape your own voice, and it could be a mantra that you may come up with. And that mantra that you come up with could be that thing that actually helps you move through through your the things that are either bothering you, ailing you, or things along those lines. And on day seven, I want you to celebrate those micro wins. Celebrate the wins that you have going on throughout that day. Those little wins that seem small. I want you to be able to celebrate that. And so knowing that you can do things to help become the best version of yourself is important. Knowing that all these things are within your control, and becoming your best self isn't a finish line. That's a daily practice. It's a daily choice. You got to show up with curiosity. Be curious about this whole situation, and that level of compassion that you got to have. Self compassion is important for us, really, to be able to get a better understanding of us. But I want you to try that 7 day plan. Send us your story. Let us kind of grow together here. I want y'all to use that, not only to ask Mitch and Angie, but right in on our platform. We want more engagement from you out there. And so I do need that engagement that helps us with doing this podcast, and also may even give us some better storyline things to do as well. And so definitely, many of you that know on the platforms that listen to this, I want you to subscribe. share your one sentence win. Share that one sentence win with me in reference to this episode, and be able to go in. I definitely encourage you if you can, and I'm gonna have journals put into the store soon, so that episode journals as well as a journal, general journal that you'll be able to use at 365, um, and that will be able to help you be able to write and reflect. Um, Also, make sure that you use what I would characterize as a 3 minute stewardship pause and look and see exactly what is it that you're doing for yourself. What is it that you're doing for others in the way of shaping your stewardship, my giving, my being, my belonging. And I want you to understand that all of these things are geared toward you becoming the best version of yourself. So, in order for you to be a better version of yourself, you're going to have to put in that daily work. And that daily work, challenge that inner critic that comes up, be able to show acts of gratitude, be able to be present with others in and around you, believe in yourself, believe in things. We have a world so much going on the outside that it makes it hard for us to really grasp and believe in ourselves as well as what we're capable of. And some people don't even believe that there's going to be any kind of promise tomorrow. But I know that there's a better tomorrow, and I'm striving each day to make my tomorrow better than it was the day before. So continue to journey forward with us on a journey for a better tomorrow, where this is more than a podcast. This is indeed a movement. This movement is going to be guided towards allowing people to share their stories, allowing people to be the best version of themselves. And I would love to get more feedback from you guys out there. And so make sure that you're giving us a little bit more feedback. Make sure that you log into our stores, click up on the menu up top. And on that menu, it has things from Dr. Daniel Amen, which are the supplements, the nutraceuticals. Those supplements are clinical grade. They do list exactly the purpose of them on each one, whether it's be attention and support for maybe your kid that might be suffering from ADD or ADHD and you don't want to put them on medication. Use a nutraceutical and it tells you exactly all of the things in there and what that's designed to do. And there's a wealth of research and things when you go on the Dr. Amen's website, on the BrainMD website, and you can see, and many of you probably seen episodes of him on public broadcasting and network channels. And so, very good resource for us. For you pet lovers, we got an affiliate partnership with Zeal Pet Food. Go in, anything that you buy through them, buy on the line there, supports us and our cause. Um, E-bike, if some of y'all looking for a new e-bike, we do have a new affiliate with e-bike company as well, and got discounts that's associated with that, as well as that would be something that would help support our causes as well. Um, and of course, the aroma passions, those things that help. Love having a nice scented environment, using lavender for calming and other things along those lines. And so anything that you get through the store from any of those affiliates that we have normally help support our cause and the things that we're wanting to do in the future, so more outreach type things. And so continue to help support us, help support this podcast, journey forward with us as we journey towards a better tomorrow. Love you guys. I'm not going to worry about doing a Ask Mitch and Angie this week because I don't have Angie with me, as well as a mental health tip. My mental health tip is pretty much shared in the context of this podcast itself. And so I want you to continue to journey forward with us. Be present in your day to day. Be intentional in the things that you do. Continue to show love for not only yourself but for others. Love your neighbor just as well as you love yourself, and try to be the best version of yourself at all times. And so I want to thank y'all for supporting us as far as you have so far to this point. Our viewership has gone up tremendously, and we want to keep going in that direction there. And we will continue to try to put out good content, good episodes. And so thank you again for listening there.